What if I told you that I naturally built my physique from this to this? And by the way, these photos are not from the ages of 16 to 23. This transformation happened within the ages of 19 to 20. Yes, I improved my body in literally just 12 months, and it all happened completely naturally. And here's what made me realize something bigger. My starting point wasn't obesity. I was skinny, but both lead to the same outcome. Weakness. I had no strength, no muscle density, poor posture, and the scary part? This state is becoming normal among people. In 1985, the average adult obesity rate in the United States was around 15%. Today, that number has climbed to over 40%. That's nearly a 3 times increase. With higher body weight, the body tends to accumulate even more fat, becomes prone to hormonal imbalances, and experiences reduced muscle density. You can be overweight and unhealthy, but you can also be skinny like past me and unhealthy. Both are symptoms of the same problems. A sedentary lifestyle, ultra-processed food, lack of sunlight and poor sleep. Because of this, the core, glute and back muscles become weaker. The hip flexors, lower back and upper trapezius muscles take over to compensate, allowing us to remain upright. As a result, we lose mobility, develop postural issues, experience joint and body pain, and place greater strain on the cardiovascular system. We're not confident, and ultimately, we're not happy. But here's the truth. That isn't genetics, and it isn't bad luck. It's our environment and our habits, and they both can be changed. So how did I actually build my physique? And you can do the same and become the person you were always meant to be. Let's start. Here are the 3 steps. First off, we have muscle growth stimulation. Nowadays, there is one thing that we are doing more than anything else. Sitting. For hours, our glutes, core and back muscles barely activate at all. If you don't stimulate your muscles to grow, if you don't use them, your body will literally force them to shrink. Because maintaining muscle tissue requires energy, and the body adapts by shrinking unused muscles to conserve resources. Remember, your body always adapts to your activities. So, how are you going to stimulate your muscles? You're going to start by choosing the right exercises and deciding how to distribute them throughout the week. It's really simple, but cannot be done randomly without thinking. What worked for me, for my brother and my friends, and what I highly recommend, is lower upper body split. This means you train your whole upper body in one session and your lower body in the next. But this is where I want to make an important point. As a beginner, you should start with only a few exercises and higher volume to focus on the technique and imprinting the movements into your body. As soon as your technique improves, you should gradually progress to heavier weights with lower reps, like 6 to 8, depending on the exercise. It's important to mention that while lower rep count leads to more strength gains, higher reps leads to endurance gains, and we want to be somewhere in the middle, where the most muscle stimulation happens. So here are the 4 upper body exercises. They cover all the major movement patterns, they're easy to progress, and for most beginners, this is more than enough. And for lower body, the same principle applies. 4 essential exercises that hit all the key patterns. But there is one more thing that you need to know before you just copy this workout. Don't get too fixated on doing certain exercises just because they are considered optimal. The most important thing is consistency. If you dislike certain exercises, if you don't enjoy your training, you won't stick to it. There are plenty of substitutes that might feel your training more enjoyable. Personally, I really like flat bench press, like most people do. So I decided to combine it with incline bench press in my training. I also completely replaced chest supported rows with barbell rows, because they just felt better to me. For legs, I replaced Romanian deadlift with regular deadlift, and sometimes I've done hamstring curls instead of ham raises. The point is, it doesn't really matter where the routines comes from. This one's based on a Jeremy Ethier upper-lower body workout videos, because this is what I started with. But it could be any solid program you find online. What matters the most is tweaking it until it feels right, until it feels like you can't wait to do it. That's what makes you stick with it. And this is what unlocks real progress. Over time, depending where you're starting at, you can add more exercises to target specific muscle groups you want to improve. For myself, I added incline dumbbell curls mixed with other curl variations, and face pulls, either as an additional exercise or a quick swap when I was tight on time. It's also smart to throw in some cardio, a bit of abs like dead bugs, and some stretching, just not all in the same session. This can be done separately, rotated in or even added on rest days if you have the time. And to be honest, I wasn't really consistent with all of it either, and I'm fine. So it's not like you have to do all of it every time or else you won't see any results. But in the long run, it will definitely benefit you. If you're overweight, it can make sense to sacrifice a bit of training volume for more cardio. Low impact options like cycling, incline walking, swimming or rowing are easier on the joints. And if running doesn't bother your joints, that's personally what I would choose. And now we are going to the second part, where most people that are going to the gym are failing. You need to give all you've got for every set. If you feel like you can't do any more reps and your every muscle is in pain, good. Now you have to do 2 more reps and you can rest. You can ask someone to help you with the weights, do half reps, but you need to push yourself. If you're ending your set before reaching absolute limits, then in my opinion you can go home and watch TV as well. Ending your sets 2 to 3 reps before failure is only acceptable at the beginning when your technique is still really bad, because you might get injured. What is also as important is progressing with the weight. You should try to add at least 1 pound as long as you can stay within your rep range. So for example, if you can do 8 reps, you should add more weight. Then you build yourself to 7 to 8 rep range again, and then you're increasing the weight again. Now, if you are pushing yourself to absolute limits in every set, naturally you will lose some technique for last reps. This is totally acceptable, as long as your technique deviations are not big enough to produce some serious risk of injury. If you are doing last reps with perfect technique, you probably are not pushing hard enough. The last step is regeneration and providing resources for your body to rebuild your muscles stronger and bigger. And the truth is that there are really only 2 things that you need to do. If you're skinny, you want to be on a calorie surplus. Assuming your daily calorie intake, so how much your body is burning energy per day, is 2700 calories, you need to eat 100 to 300 more than that. If you want to lose weight, you need to eat 300 to 500 less. I never wanted to track everything what I ate to a gram. So what I did was experiment. I wanted to gain weight, so I was eating slightly more and I monitored my body weight carefully. I was adding more calories if I wasn't gaining weight at all and reducing calories if I was gaining it too fast. A good rule of thumb is to aim to gain around half to 1 pound per week. At the same time, you need to provide enough protein for your body. And I recommend eating 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight, or 1.5 gram per every kilogram. Now, you can have massive gains even eating junk food, but I highly advise against it. You will feel bad, get acne, and you might get significant health issues. What I would recommend is having a balanced diet. Eating a lot of eggs, red meat, fish, vegetables, especially if you're reducing your body weight, low carbs intake is a game changer. You can check some ketogenic diets available online, although every balanced diet should work. When you provide resources for your body, the last thing you need is sleep. This is when most of muscle building happens. So try to get at least 7 hours of good sleep. If you stick to everything I told you in this video, for around a year, you will change and become unrecognizable, I guarantee you. Subscribe and like the video if you like it, comment your opinion, and see you in the next video.